Hey guys, so I've just attached the arm here and that's positioned. I've gone back in and redesigned this skeleton. There's a single copper wire here and a single copper wire there, which is great because that just makes everything a bit easier. I've just changed the proportions a little bit longer in the torso and the arms, and I've got the elbows in the right position, turned a little bit outwards. I've got some blue tack here and I'll use that to just tack the shoulders in place. The sanguinary guard shoulder pad is meant for a space marine, so what I do is I just cut a slit along the top there and then open the pad up and then I fill that in with green stuff. Those look good together. The other pad is smaller but it has more detail, so that's a good counterpoint. Now I'm going to go with the skeleton arm, and I'm going to use the extended version on an angle. So I'm just going to cut down the back of the spear arm ever so slowly, drill into the arm, and I'm just going to mock up a sword length of wire here. Let's have a look at the heads. So here are the different choices. There's the Demonettes of Slaanesh. The best part about this is the face, but unfortunately I think the scale is a little bit too small. There's an effect I achieved with Dante where the head was from a Warhammer Fantasy kit, and it made the bulky armor seem more bulky, yet it still looked like it was in scale. So unfortunately with the Demonettes, they're just a little bit too small, because that face is crazy cool, but I think it's a little bit crazy, especially if I'm doing the skeletal hand on the right hand. So I'm going to stick with the skeletal hand, but I'm going to go with the normal head. Let's look at some of the other options. This is a Space Marine captain who is missing his skull on his left-hand side of his face, and I thought that could play well to the skeletal right hand, but there's just not much of a expression on his face. It's kind of a nothing really. If it was a silent grimace, that would look cool, because that would be that he's concentrating, Professor X style. There's another Space Marine helmet head that has that sort of face, which is kind of concentrating, but also kind of looks like he's smiling. There's this Warhammer Fantasy fellow whose head is just a little bit too small, and there's this Chaos Space Marine with the vampire teeth, who I've just realized looks ridiculous. He looks like the kind of guy that Buffy is going to kill before the episode has even begun. I got rid of the Dark Elves. It's just too small. And the other Demonette faces are too small as well, which is good news for the Demonette. The lead Demonette, I love her hair, and I'd really like to use that, so that's not good news for her. Here's the head that I'm going to go with. This is a head from the Catachan Jungle Fighters set. Here what we've got is a great face with a gaping mouth and sort of a silent scream. It's just the right size that it's not overpowering, but it is a little bit smaller. That creates that focus on the armor and the scale. Potentially with this hair, I think would be crazy. And we'll just carve off the top and fix the mohawk and all of that stuff. I guess it's a little bit Dragon Ball Z. And what I'm going to do is just shave down part of this head so that there's a bit more room to work with. I'm just shaving down the top area of the skull just to make room for the hair. What I'm doing is just shaping it, bending it, sanding it down until it fits. And I've angled his head because his head has to look up. Let's look at it from the side. His head will be looking up like that. The hair has to also equally stand up. I'm gonna have to attach some green stuff under there and make that all work. So I'm just gonna sand off the back here and cut it down with my knife. I'm gonna leave these little Terminator bits here because I want to build the psychic hood out of them, just as a nod to what was originally there. Little nick, nothing bad. Get in there with the file. Now I'm just going to put some green stuff into the hair and get it to connect to the head a bit, and sort of block in that area and just see how that looks. There you go. The hair is all sticking up, spiky, maybe a little bit more to do on the sideburns just to get it completely fused, but I've also got to put in his Brainiac ports there, so maybe I won't worry about the hair for now. It looks a little bit tubey. It's not as flat as I'd like, but it'll paint up just fine, I'm sure. I can maybe just go in there with a knife and give it a bit of a trim, but I really don't want to mess it up, so I'll leave it for now and we'll see what happens. What else we got?